And we're back with another podcast coming at you live. It is Tuesday once again. No, I am not a radio DJ. This is No Sugar, No Cream podcast, and we got another one coming at you live. Guys, hope you're having a good Tuesday. It is a nice, warm one here in Nashville, and we're looking forward to doing another fun, exciting podcast. Played some poker last night. Did all right. That was fun. Always a good time to play some poker with strangers, and there's always different people there for the most part. I've met some, but I don't know. I probably should make more of an effort to make some friends or whatever.
You are the funniest man in Nashville.
Well, that was almost taken from me 10 minutes ago.
Not necessarily the friendliest man in Nashville, although you are friendly.
I know, man. I used to, I could be so content just being on my own nowadays. I've changed so much from when I was younger. As a teenager, I had to be around people. I thrive being around people, and my personality kind of changed over the years. I mean, I think. But maybe even trauma would be part of it. Oh, here we go. Let me put on your therapist hat, Tim.
True confessions. No sugar, no cream. True confessions corner.
True confessions. Yeah, just the environment, I guess. I mean, you just kind of change too as you get older. I don't know. Is it not? I guess that need for desire for having other validate, that bug people get when they like being around people, and I want to make people laugh. That's the main thing. Which I still have that. I still love to do that, and depending on the people I'm around, like it comes out pretty naturally around you. I'm always trying to say something stupid to make you laugh,
and you do make me laugh a lot.
And then there's certain people, which is interesting that you bring, because you are more of a serious person, but I guess being comfortable around you is a big part of it. But then there's some people I'll be around that that are so serious that I won't even maybe flex that muscle as much. But then those people are too the fun to make people laugh, because they don't laugh as much. If you can make those people laugh, that's always a good day. But comedy? Oh yeah, I guess I haven't seen a comedy show in a little while. But I was thinking about oh yeah, I joked with my dad that I went to comedy shows, and now I'm starting to think. Oh no, I went NASCAR. Sunday I went to NASCAR. That's what I did. Sunday I went to NASCAR. Here in Nashville, they had the Cracker Barrel 400, so it's 300 laps, and I was looking forward to that, especially since it was like not super hot outside, and then the sun was going to be going down. And I got there and I forgot how loud those cars are. Oh my gosh, it hurt every time that all the cars flew by. It hurt my eardrums, and I sat there for probably not even 10 minutes, and then I was like, I got to get some earplugs, and I went down and I was in line to buy some earplugs. And I hit up. I was like, "Hey, did you get some earplugs here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think you can get them here." And he's like, "Well, here you go." He pulled out some brand new ones out of his pocket. They're just
nice.
It was like perfect.
People can be really, really nice.
Yeah, you get that Nashville hospitality. It's great. So, for the most part, yeah. You this isn't hospitality, but random little nugget of, that I ran into on the highway. There's like a free like a breakdown assistance, like free AAA.
Yeah,
basically.
You've told me about this.
Yeah,
they will. I've never. Thank God, I've never been broken down on the highway, so I haven't.
I ran out of gas a couple times,
and you literally call, and they will. Yeah, come for free, and
they just saw that somebody called me in that I was on the side of the road, and they just came and helped me out. You just gave me some gas and put me on the way. But like, hey, yeah, it's free. And I guess they'll even tow you for free too, or all that too. That's what it seemed like.
That's amazing.
But there's free roadside assistance, in Nashville area. In fact, I was trying to call AAA, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll send somebody an hour or whatever." And then I figured out, well, they should have just told me that. Oh yeah, there's free roadside assistance. They basically ignored me because they knew like, oh, somebody's going to probably be there before you know it to help them. But yeah, so that was a nice little nice thing to know, because there's a good amount of people that, well, I mean, I would say a good amount of people will stop in Nashville, get to experience Nashville, but there's probably plenty of people that are just passing through and get that hospitality of like, hey, you ran out of some gas. Here's some gas. You got a flat. We'll help you change that flat real quick. Just, it was like good. And that's also less injury, less chance of somebody getting hit on the side of the road because you're getting them on their way and off the road. And you don't have a car sitting on there for a long period of time. Somebody could hit that car or whatever, too. So that's just a smart thing, especially the way Nashville roads are so weird. I think I've said it before in here. You got to keep moving to the left lane or you'll exit without even thinking about it. You just gotta.
The design is, and in fact, you have what's called a cloverleaf. Most major interstate intersections in most other states is a cloverleaf, meaning it's predictable. From the sky, it looks like a cloverleaf. And what that means is that, if you're trying to go left, or if you're trying to go north, or you're trying to go south, it's intuitive which side of that 2-lane road you need to be on to get that exit. And in Nashville, no, it could be either or. You could have, like, for example, okay, if you're like on 24 out here, it's pretty much east and west. Sorry, it's pretty much north and south. And let's say you're going east on the overpass over, and you need to catch the cloverleaf so that you can go north or south. Most states, if you want to go south, you would get in the left lane, because then you would make a left and you would make a turn, and you go around and come around and get, isn't that right? I think that's right. And then if you wanted to go north, you'd be in the right lane.
I don't know. I'm already getting car sick.
But in Nashville, no. It's not necessarily that way. You could have to be in the left lane to go north and the right lane to go south, which then there's no wraparound. It's just you're making a turn, and then you basically go onto the highway. But it depends on the intersection. It's not consistent. It completely depends on which intersection you are in. And some of them, and so you're coming up, there's a lot of traffic and both lanes are full, and you're trying to figure out, should I be in the left lane? Should I be in the right lane? And it's a little bit disconcerting because you're not sure, and the signs don't pop up soon enough. And then by the time you get a sign, you're already committed to the wrong lane, and trying to get into the other lane is problematic, and people honk at you so quickly here in Nashville. I don't know. You're just trying to make a turn. You're trying to merge into traffic, and people take offense to that more than any other city I've ever driven in. I'm just trying to get to where I'm going, and people honk at you when you try to cut, when you try to get into the lane, because you're just trying to get where you're going.
The whole thing where if you're in the right lane, you're always exiting. That hurt me going to the race Sunday. I ended up exiting when I didn't have to. It was like when I think of a normal exit, I feel like back in Arkansas and everything,
you have to
there's an exit created.
The exit created, yeah.
And they add on a road.
On the side, yeah.
You're losing a road. Every mile you're losing a road, and then I guess they just add on one on this side or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. The city planners, whoever's in charge of the highways, I don't like their principles, I guess. I mean, I love Nashville. But
they're probably fired. They probably don't have their jobs anymore.
And another thing too, there's a lot of potholes, but I think every state has that. And the church I was attending, they're from Australia. The pastors are from Australia, and I asked them about, we were driving, we went to Memphis to see the Grizzlies play, and I asked him, he's dodging potholes as you have to on American roads, and I said, you have any potholes like this in Australia, thinking that I knew the answer. And he said, no. Most developed countries do a much better job of maintaining their infrastructure than the U.S. does. Just a fact. If you travel outside the U.S., you would experience that. I mean, countries that aren't as developed, like when we were in Ukraine, that's not a developed country before the war. Now it's got probably much worse. The roads are torn up because of the bombs. But my buddy Jimmy and I were in Ukraine in 2021, and we drove a lot. I mean, we didn't drive. We had a driver who took us everywhere. Sasha was his name, became a good friend, great guy. I hope he's still alive because he volunteered. He was like 21, 22, and he was serving in the military. And Jimmy was in contact with him, my buddy, and I would ask him like every periodically, have you heard from Sasha? Is he still living? Yeah, I haven't asked him. I need to ask him. A lot of young men killed in the war over there, but they had bad roads. But you'd expect that. I mean, they're a developing country, not a developed country, and so our infrastructure, is not par. People that come from other developed countries and they're shocked. Japan, no way, man. You're not going to find a pothole in Japan, based on my experience of riding down the road. I mean, it's very well maintained. So, some of the things we have here in this country is, and that costs money. Infrastructure costs a lot of money, obviously. So more taxes, things like that. But
and that's, I mean, there's some states that do better than others.
Some states do better than others. Absolutely. Yeah. I think South Dakota does pretty good. I don't remember seeing potholes in South Dakota. And talking about potholes, I remember I had a gig in Ohio, north of Cincinnati, I want to say. And I was driving through, there's a road, it's 77 or 70 or something, that from Nashville to Ohio. And I think I still had my Mercedes at that time, 10-year-old Mercedes. It wasn't new by any stretch, so don't think that I'm super rich. But, and I believe I was driving that, and I hit a pothole. And it just popped out of nowhere. I mean, I was driving, I was paying attention. I wasn't looking at my phone. I was paying attention, looking at the highway. And all of a sudden, and I was going highway speeds, probably 75, I don't know, 70. I mean, just normal highway speeds. And all of a sudden there was a pothole there, and I didn't avoid it. And it literally bent my rim and made my tire go flat. And, the only thing that my car had was that donut thing. And it says only go 35 miles. And first of all, I couldn't figure out where to put the jack. I'd never had to jack up the car. And there was no manual because I bought the car used. So I couldn't figure out where the jacking point was to jack up the car because there's no obvious place. And finally, I think I Googled it, or no, I think someone told me. I talked to AAA or talked to somebody, and they told me where to find it. And I did figure out, because AAA, I called service. I was willing to pay for it, and nobody came because I had to get to my gig. I had a gig that night. And finally, I figured out how to do it, and I did it myself. And I was like, well, I got a couple hours more to drive because I was still in Kentucky, and I had to get all the way to Ohio. Am I safe driving on that donut? Because I really don't have enough time to stop and get the car fixed. And I talked to my buddy Jimmy, who I often consult with about different things. And he said he's known people that drove on that donut for like months. It says only change after 35 miles. That's not true. You can go a long time. So I drove all the way to north of Cincinnati, somewhere, I don't remember the town, somewhere in Ohio. Might have been in Columbus, because I remember I had a gig in Columbus, and that might have been that gig. And I think I had a couple gigs, actually, and all the way back home before I ever changed that donut, and it was fine.
And 6 months later, he got it changed.
So there's a thing for you.
Get the money's worth out of that, sucker.
If you're in the middle of nowhere and it says only drive 35 miles on that donut, that's not necessarily true.
That's interesting you say that. I never heard that before. I knew that it says not to go to over 45 or 55.
And you're also supposed to not go over 45 or 55, right?
I didn't know about that.
Do you think I obeyed that rule?
I'm going to say, no, you did not. Survey says.
My nephew knows me. I have a lead foot, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it was passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah, I got it from my dad. No doubt about it. So anyway, that's some shenanigans that we've been up to on highways and things. And so how at the end, you didn't stay for the end of the NASCAR race?
No, thanks for snitching on me, Tim. Yes, I left. it was so loud, and they were getting so spread out. It was no car accidents,
and
so I was,
there's the phenomenon
with all the food trucks.
Okay. You said there wasn't much food there, and the food food trucks were there. The lines were long because there just wasn't enough
of them.
There wasn't enough of them. But you said, and I'm not trashing you for this. I think this is a valid point. It's hard to know who's ahead, and it's more fun to watch it on TV. You made the comment.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'd rather watch a football. I mean, I'm not a big football fan, but I admit that I'd rather watch a football game on TV than in real life. I mean, the seats I've had, you're way up, because I've never splurged to be on the 50-yard goal line or anything, or even close. And
well, it should be pretty cheap right now with the way Titans have been playing the last couple of years.
So I mean, I like being there in the environment, but as far as actually watching the game to see what's going on,
that's why the food is a big part of it. The food and drink, and
there's a lot of good food at the Titans. I remember at the Titans Stadium, I thought there was good choices. Didn't you think?
It'd be awesome too with that new stadium.
Yeah, they're building a new stadium here in Nashville, and so and I've gone a few times. I went once with you. And I was playing in church, playing the worship band in church. And by the time we got done, I had to stay till the end because we had the post sermon altar call, and we had to play during that. And so, it stretched out a little bit longer. By the time I got out of church and packed up all my gear, and that was all the way in Franklin, and I had to drive all the way to Nashville. Franklin's south of Nashville, about a half an hour. By the time I got there, it was halftime. But I was my first time ever been to the Titan Stadium, and you'd gotten the ticket, or we'd gotten the ticket together. I think you'd gotten it, and I Venmo'd you, whatever it was. And I was going to meet you, and I think I must have had the ticket on my phone. Obviously I did, because I was able to get in. You must have sent it to me. And as I'm coming in, people are saying, "What are you coming for now?" Because they're leaving. They're saying, "We're down by 2 touchdowns, or maybe 3, whatever it was." So the Titans fans were leaving at halftime, and they were trashing me because I was coming for the first time. I said, "Why are you coming now?" I had a couple people say that to me. "Why are you coming now? We're down 3 touchdowns." I'm like, wow, you guys are giving up pretty early. It's a whole half left. Well, they did lose. I don't remember who they played, but they did lose that game. But I went not for that, because I'm not a big Titans fan. I went for the experience, the ambiance. First time to the stadium, got some free merch. They were giving away what they gave away. They gave away
a scarf. We got a scarf and a flag.
And a flag, yeah. And just in the stadium, and it was a cool stadium. I was surprised they're building a new one, because I thought it was modern. But they're saying, "Oh, it's obsolete." Well, really? This is obsolete? It's only like 20 years old, I think. I mean, it's not that old. I mean, the standards are so high now. They're talking billions of dollars for a new stadium. Billions. I think it's a couple billion for this new stadium.
Probably, yeah.
And spending that kind of money, I mean, the previous one's very serviceable. What do I know? I mean,
what do we know? We're just
podcasters.
Just podcasters. What do we know? Yeah, I'm looking forward to going to some games there. The food is always part of it. I'm going to go to my first UFC fight in July 12th or something. They're going to be at Bridgestone. Is it Bridgestone or is it? Yeah, Bridgestone.
Yeah, Bridgestone is the arena.
Yeah, that's where the NHL team plays, right?
Yeah, that's where the Predators play.
Yeah, they got a UFC fight, and I got decent tickets, and they weren't too horribly priced at all. And like so I'm excited about that. I've always liked watching the UFC fights, so that's going to be fun to be around that crowd and to go to that fight.
Well, I'm glad you're taking advantage of the things that are going on in Nashville.
Yeah, me too. That one just popped up, and those tickets all the good tickets would have been gone. And, I mean, quickly you get them sold out, and then people, are either throw them back on there, or they're going to the game themselves, or there's already, resold tickets. I like this. Some of the people, like I went to that Kill Tony show, you couldn't resell his tickets. So I was like, well, that's a simple way. Well, I don't know why more of these companies don't do that, where don't allow reselling. But then I mean, it is helpful to the person like, oh, I'm not able to go, but then you're easily going to get plenty of scalpers. People will just raising the price on it, making some quick money. So, which is nice too for people that have season tickets, but just for individual shows, it's nice when they don't do that, don't allow resales, and then everybody's getting at the normal prices. And then you'll have people too get they'll buy off these different websites and they'll get scammed because, like, I mean, you got to make sure you're buying off the right website because a lot of these will, don't want to mess with some of these websites and just only sell on their website. And then if you buy it somewhere else, you're getting scammed. So, but yeah, so that's what I went to I left, I didn't even stay halfway through the
Okay,
the
a couple
race.
sentences of
Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. Let's edit that out. Oh, this is live. Oh, yeah.
Now, talking about, I do love NBA basketball live. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. There's nothing like being there and seeing them play and hearing their feet squeak on the parquet and hear the ball bounce, hear the ball, hit the rim or go through the net.
I got to see Steph Curry play before he retires. Probably need to try to go to a game next year. I'd like to see him play.
Well, what would be cool is we can go see when the Celtics play because I would be willing to go to that. We should go see the Celtics. Maybe we go to California.
That's not a bad ticket at all. I mean, we can fly there for like $100.
Yeah, we should try that. Should look at the schedule and book that.
Yeah,
plan ahead.
Book it. Another bonus about being here in Nashville, there's plenty of cheap flights to other big cities. So you can go to Florida for $100.
But I'm a little irritated. I want to move, and I'm looking for a place. Not out of Nashville, but closer to downtown. We live kind of in the suburbs, I would say. I mean, it's only probably, depending on the traffic, 30 minutes to get downtown. But, my favorite, one thing that prompted my rant here is one of my favorite restaurants. There's a shortage of restaurants. I mean, there's a lot of houses here, but not a lot of businesses. And, I'm a single guy, so I eat out a lot and don't cook much, cook rarely. I have cooked on occasion, but not that.
And the chef usually makes him grilled cheese sandwiches.
And cook myself. I have cooked in the past. I can do that. And Subculture, which is run by a guy from Chile.
Doesn't have sub sandwiches though.
It has no Subculture. And man, they had some amazing. And I went there the other day, Monday, and I pulled up, and there was a guy in one of these 4-wheelers. The 4-wheelers that has the complete covering. Probably has air conditioner in there. The golf cart kind of things, but it's not a golf cart. But maybe it was, that one might have been a golf cart. And there was a guy sitting in there, and I went to pull on the door, and it was closed. And I looked in, and it looked like somebody was cleaning. There was, stuff on the tables. It definitely wasn't. And I said, "Oh, they're closed." And he said, "Yeah, permanently." I'm like, "What?" And I'd gotten to know, and he had worked there. I had seen him there a number of times. He worked for the guy that owned it, and they'd opened up another place a little bit out of town in Smyrna, which is, I might have to go to Smyrna.
Is it Smyrna East?
Smyrna is south of us, southeast of us.
Yeah.
And they just decided to close this one. That one was bigger, and they've got not only a beer license and a whiskey license or a hard liquor license as well, which, when you're trying to make money, you want to have those options, I guess. And I'm so disappointed because the possibilities in this neighborhood are so few that I like to go to. I mean, I go for breakfast. Usually you can go to, if you want to slum, I mean, no offense to Waffle House, but I love Waffle House, but you're kind of slumming. Can we edit that part out?
I don't think they're going to allow you back in Waffle House.
They're going to kick me out. I mean, it's low. It's diner. It's low. I mean, I was in there one time at night and a guy completely naked, high on drugs walked in. just completely naked.
I would say, if anything, the clientele is slummed. Like this car's the quality of food.
Yeah, the food is great. The food
just
is
as good as like any.
It is. The food is amazing. That's what I'm talking about.
But of course, I don't have like a hoity-toity taste buds. Give me some. Give me a waffle. I'm simple as can be. Just give me some toast and eggs, and I'm good.
I keep going there because I love their food.
And eggs.
But I mean, it's the clientele. I mean, because it's inexpensive. You know, I mean, it's got a certain vibe. I love Waffle House. I would not want to be living in a place where they didn't have Waffle House. In fact, one of the reasons I wouldn't want to move back to South Dakota is they don't have Waffle Houses there. I love me a good Waffle House. But, sometimes I like, go to a place that has avocado toast, basted eggs. I've asked the Waffle House guys, can you make my eggs basted? And the look I get when I ask the Waffle House grill short order guy to do basted eggs.
What's the latest you go to Waffle House?
What's the latest?
Yeah, the latest, like late in the morning. How late do you go to the Waffle House? I've gone
probably at all times of the day. I've gone at midnight. I've gone at early in the morning. I've gone at noon. I've gone at 9, 10, 11.
No, but I was just gonna say, just knock on my door when you're going close to noon. I'll be. There's probably a good chance I want to go.
No, you won't. I've asked you to go to breakfast numerous times, and you say, I'm not hungry yet. You're never hungry in the morning. You're never hungry in the morning.
You've never asked me. It was like,
I've asked you for breakfast numerous times. You're never hungry until you've been up for a couple hours.
You never ask on my door, but yeah. Okay, yeah, sometimes. No, I got you. I know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean, yeah.
I go to First Watch.
Usually, but you're not having breakfast, though. You're doing something else, though. I was like, breakfast, like, yeah, but
you're not computing.
Usually I like my first meal of the day to be breakfast. If it's like noon and I haven't ate it all, I don't like going to something else.
My first meal is always a breakfast meal.
Yeah,
even at noon usually. I normally am not eating till noon these days.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing the 8-16 thing, trying 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating. Trying that. Although yesterday I didn't follow it, but anyway, so I don't want to eat till noon is what I'm trying to do, and that's breakfast usually. Anyway, so I go to my other one is First Watch, and that's a little more hoity-toity.
Would you like some
bougie
avocado toast?
And basted eggs.
That would be $25.
Yes, it's much more expensive, and double. I pay twice as much when I go there, and I love it there. I mean, they know my order now. I get kale tonic drink. Bougie, and my eggs are basted there. But I mean, it's 15-20 minutes away. It's a ways away. The number of stoplights, I counted the stoplights once. It's over 10 stoplights between here and there. I mean, so you got to drive some ways.
You're not supposed to count them.
Subculture was probably at most 3 stoplights away. And they closed.
That's how we're measuring things now. No, I don't want to do that. Where you headed? 4 stoplights away. What?
I think that should be a new measurement.
New measurement. Tim's measurement.
How many
Tim's
stoplights?
Measurement of time and distance. I like it.
Yeah, so there's no other, and I didn't even know about subculture. My former roommate, Ashley, who you replaced. You're staying in the room where she was at. She moved to Georgia with her boyfriend, and she's doing great. I saw her when I was in Georgia and Atlanta. Was that March?
She can't grow a beard like this. Suck it.
No, I don't think Ashley could grow a beard like that. I don't think. But yeah, she living with her boyfriend there, and I had breakfast with her when I was in Atlanta. Was that early April?
I hope that noise of that fan doesn't make it on the podcast. Sorry if you guys can hear that fan. I feel like it's just gotten louder.
No, it's comforting. It's just repetitive. It's comforting.
Welcome to the podcast. Gonna have a good time. Do it all day. Tuesday is on the mind. Woohoo! Podcast. Good times. I was like, you were perfectly timed that. I didn't hear it anymore because you were doing it on the noise. I was like, the sound went away. That's how that you perfectly covered it, which is so funny because like it's like it goes. That's weird. Sound effects.
Well, I am a musician.
All right, no need to get an attitude. That should be put. You should have that should be on a T-shirt with you doing that face. I am a musician.
So what were you
like?
what
holding the
were
guitar. Oh my gosh! There's a podcast where girl she's interviewing this rapper girl, and she says, "Yeah, she is calling her a musician, but she thinks musician is magician or something."
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that. That's a movie. Isn't that a movie? I think it's a movie.
No, it's from a podcast. I mean, unless there's something else.
Oh,
but this is.
I have seen that. But is that a bit? Or was it real?
No, she's stupid. I think. She was.
Are you sure that's not a bit? I've seen that.
No, it seemed like she was pretty sincere about that. I am not. Stop calling me a musician. And she thinks musician is magician or something. And
yeah, and the podcast is getting so exasperated that, or I think it might have been like an interview, a straight up interview, like a TV show interview or something like that.
No, it's the Good Podcast. It's
okay.
Yeah, I'll show you afterwards. Yeah, it's from the Really Good Podcast, and it's this a girl that does like a lot of like her humor is like super dry, like she makes you feel very awkward during her interviews. So,
like Rick Gervais. That's kind of British, isn't it? What's his name? Rick Gervais. The original Office Space. No, Office. The one with Steve Carell, where he made his bones, where he did really well. Was it The Office?
Yeah, it was The Office, the original Office. Yeah.
Well, the original one was
Gervais.
British, and that was Rick Gervais.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais.
Is it with a G?
I think so. Yeah, Ricky Gervais.
And I saw some of that, and mainly it was all his humor is awkwardness, and I know that's probably a little more British humor because British humor is different than American humor, and it was just awkward scenes where you just felt pain for the characters, how awkward it was, and just awkward. And
yeah, that's
my take.
This podcast is.
That's our podcast.
That's how this podcast is that I'm talking about. She's very, not our podcast. That's great.
Awkward.
We just, guys, if you could know how.
I'll remember when. Maybe we're not allowed to say this. Does your brother watch this podcast?
Yeah, he does some. He will murder us.
He might murder us if I tell this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
Oh, no.
So I remember when his former significant other.
That was probably already a story you shouldn't tell.
Came to the farm. And we were sitting around the dinner table, and my dad was like interrogating her, your grandpa. Remember, he was I don't know, he was interrogating her.
I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't? Well, you weren't there. And I remember there was a point in the conversation where she goes, awkward.
Awkward. Yeah.
She was young. I mean, your brother was young. I think he was like 20 years old at the time. This is a long time ago, you know?
Awkward.
Anyway, you were talking about that podcast.
The one word that makes things even more awkward when you say it is awkward.
Right. It does. When you say that phrase, now maybe that's
things might have not been awkward before, but
you know, is that I haven't heard that, but that phrase awkward. That was more common in the maybe in the teens.
Yeah.
In the 10s. I haven't heard that in the 20s. It was maybe that's an obsolete thing, but it used to be awkward.
Now we say things like sus.
You know, that sounds to me, without knowing for sure if I've got my eras correctly, that sounds more like a Paris Hilton.
Tim, you're being mid.
You remember Paris Hilton and her show, Nicole Richie,
That's
was
hot. That's hot.
Remember?
Yeah, she said that's hot. Yeah.
Is that what she used to say?
Yeah.
But it seems like they also used to say awkward. Did they say that?
Maybe they might have. That sounds like something Blonde would say. Awkward.
I saw a video recently of, and I think I showed it to you, of Kim Kardashian. There's a video of Paris Hilton when Paris Hilton was at her peak.
Mm-hmm.
She might have been 2010, 2008, somewhere in that time frame, roughly.
How dare you? Paris Hilton has always been at the peak.
And there was a video of Paris Hilton, and she was on the top of her game, and there was an assistant helping her loading her shopping bags from the most expensive places into the back of her SUV, and that assistant was Kim Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
Kim Kardashian months was Paris Hilton's assistant, and then roughly 2010 era, and then the video went on and compared them today, their net worths, and Paris Hilton's net worth versus Kim Kardashian's net worth. So Kim Kardashian went from being Paris Hilton's assistant to being worth, I don't remember the numbers, 100 times. I think maybe 100 times what Paris Hilton is worth, net worth. Net worth isn't everything. And they both of them are so rich they'll never spend all the money they have. So when is enough? But if you're just comparing that, Kim Kardashian just took off, and those Kardashians are all wealthy. I think Kim is worth over $1 billion now, and certainly her. Mm-hmm. I think
Paris is worth 150, which is kind of funny because
that's it. It was 150. So you know the numbers,
like 10 times,
but 150. Yeah, it is. It's 10 times. It's not 100 times. I probably misspoke. Don't take us off the internet because I said 100 instead of 10. I do apologize. I will do penance for making that mistake.
And this has been Apology Corner with Tim.
So about 10x, because Kardashian's worth a little over $1 billion, right? I believe.
Yeah, she was getting crazy back in the day, and I think her family, her grandfather took her out of the will. She just made her own money.
Who? Paris? Or who?
Paris. Yeah, she just made her own money. That's all her own money that she's made there. With different. I mean, a lot of these girls,
100 million. What are you going to? I mean, 100 million is in the top less than 1% of the population, probably 0.1. I mean, you're still. Yeah, unbelievably rich.
Isn't he even $1 million in the top 1%?
Million's about 2%. 2%, I think. Let's Google that. Google that. $1 million top what percent? Google, please. Oh, come on, man.
I got a typer.
What am I going to do with you? I'm doing the Seth move.
Hey.
That's your move. I'm stealing it from you. I think if you're in the top, if you're worth 1 million is probably, I'm going to say $1 million.
Top 2% net worth of 2.4 million.
Okay. Top 2% is 2.4.
So
1%, 1% is what percent? 5? 1 million
probably,
net worth.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Can you? 1 million is what percent? 2.4 million is the top 2% of the U.S. Right? Is that households or individuals? Did it say households or individuals?
I'm researching the next thing. I don't know.
You're on it. I love it. Did you remember to turn on the on-air sign? We're gonna get called.
I did.
Oh, good,
yeah.
good. So, okay, the guy,
is.
You can see that on-air sign is on. You don't have to offer to help us to turn it on. We appreciate you. Your T-shirt, read the T-shirt to me. What does it say? Your T-shirt.
No sugar, no cream.
And then?
Not sponsored. I forgot about that.
Not sponsored. Time to the fan.
If you're gonna have me Google,
It's hot today. It's hot today in Nashville. I think it's probably 90 degrees. Say it again, please.
9%.
Wow. So $1 million, $1 million net worth is in the top 9% of. Is that how? Does it say households or individuals?
It just says millionaires.
That'd be individuals, then I'd say. Really? Basically, around 10%. 10% of Americans have a $1 million net worth. I'm kind of surprised, but $1 million isn't what it was. Isn't what it used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, not all states can you. I mean, like there's two if you budget well. Most Americans are horrible at budgeting, living off the interest. Be rough. It would be hard for a lot of Americans to do. I mean, I could do it. I could live in a tent. I don't say that. Tim's going to put me out in a tent. I'm joking, Tim. Don't put me. So you say you could live in a tent? You say? Oh man!
Wow, that's so almost 9%. You said 9%. 9% of Americans are millionaires or more.
1 in 11 households. Oh, this is saying households have a net worth of 1 million.
I thought households. That's a little generous for individuals. That's why remember I asked households or individuals.
You did. I apologize. I did not do the correct amount of research. I want to take this time to apologize to everyone watching the podcast and listening right now. I made a mistake. Mistake was made. Mistakes were made, cause and error and judgment.
All right. So can you find the number for individuals? Individuals, not households, individuals. Because it's going to be less than 9%.
I'm only allowed 2 Googles per podcast.
No, you're not. You're allowed more.
Oh, really? Give me extension?
Yes, give you extension.
What am I Googling now?
Individual millionaires, what percent of American individuals are worth $1 million or more? Yeah, 9%. It's households. That's why. So, you could have 2 or more wage earners in a home. You could have a husband. There's a lot of power couples, that have pooled their resources, but individual.
18.
Say it.
18.
18. It's got to be less than 9. You said 18% of American individuals have $1 million?
Wait, this is saying, approximately 8% of households are considered millionaires.
How many?
This is households.
Oh, okay, what is the number?
18%.
18?
What was that other thing? Was saying 9%.
Wow. Well, we're getting confusing reports here today.
In the U.S. AI, don't you fail us, AI.
Yeah, we're going to get into an era. We started watching a movie, or I started watching. We started watching it, and then you gave up on it, and I gave up on it a little bit later. It's got Steve Carell in it. Talk about Steve Carell from The Office. It's Mountainhead is the name of it. I think it's on Netflix, and it's a fictional account of 4 billionaires. Well, one of them isn't quite a billionaire, and they get together.
You got to be amazing writer to make. I mean, there's a lot of dialogue going on that.
There was a lot of dialogue, very dense dialogue.
And it just
with a lot of. They were all tech people, and the one guy that owned the mountaintop resort. It wasn't a resort, but it was a mansion on top of a mountain, and I think probably Colorado. In the snow, they went snow skiing and stuff. Or I mean, not snow skiing, but snowmobiling. And he was only worth $500 million. So he was the underling, and the top dog was worth 200 and something, because they were very prominent about what their net worth was, which I imagine if Elon Musk and let's say Elon Musk and Zuckerberg and Warren Buffett and whomever else got together, if they were buddies, they're probably trash talking each other. I'm worth more than you, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's possible. Anybody who's at that level is incredibly competitive, I'm going to say. And the tech speak that they were bouncing back and forth, it was hard to follow. It was very dense dialogue, incredibly dense, but very interesting. But it really started going off a bit of a deep end. I won't do any spoilers. And they started pitting. What was happening was the guy that was worth 200 and some billion owned a social media company. It would be like Zuckerberg, probably. And he'd released an AI program that had allowed a lot of fakes, and nobody knew when news came in, was this real or was it a fake AI generated thing? And that was, the world was in turmoil, and governments were toppling, and they were in this mountaintop place, and they're just talking about what's going to happen and how they can buy the spoils of, because the market's going to crash and all that sort of stuff. But then it really took a sinister turn, and I lost interest. I watched more than you, but I won't give any. It really got weird. But the first half was quite interesting about how I imagine that's how they probably talk. If they're buddies, they're all roughly the same age. I mean, I don't think Warren Buffett is not going to be, probably hanging out with Elon Musk. I mean, they just seem like two completely different kind of people. But I know that Warren Buffett and the Microsoft guy, you can see his face, who founded Microsoft. They hang out. They're best buds. Hang out all the time. Bill Gates, yes, Bill Gates.
If you want to hang out with Warren Buffett, you got to go to McDonald's, I guess.
Yeah,
he still goes and drives McDonald's, his old car.
Very simple taste. Very simple. He doesn't lives in the same house he's had since the 1950s. Not a big mansion. He doesn't spend his money. He's very simple in his lifestyle. So versus, say, some of these other guys.
Anybody else?
Jeff Bezos, don't hear much about him, but Elon Musk, I think, is fairly flamboyant. I mean, I think that's safe to say.
He used to be more. He sold like all his properties and went. He was basically living out of
a tiny house. I know he was living in a tiny house.
He was living in his factory, and then he moved. He got it one of the tiny houses that they're into, which those are kind of interesting. I think he invested in that company or whatever. Those little fold out houses.
Yeah, I mean, you can get. I saw a video and I Googled it. You can buy a house, a two or a 3-bedroom house from Amazon for $19,000, and it folds out. And I saw the video of them folding it out, and it's the size that would fit on a 40-foot truck. So it's only 10 feet wide.
Does it already have electric and everything, or are you
wired in it? I guess, and then you fold it out, and it's like 3 times the size or more. And, we have, there's a shortage. 90% of every county in the United States has a severe housing shortage. There's not enough housing in the U.S., affordable housing. And so something like that, my buddy and I, we own property and we own rental units. We've thought about, what if we got one of those and see, how hard it would be to get it hooked. You still got to get it hooked up, right? You still got to have electric, you still got to have plumbing, still got to have sewer. You still have those hookups.
Might as well get one, check it out, and see.
Yeah, get one to check it out. Put it on a piece of land and see how it's.
How much the maintenance costs you with it,
and how is it going to stand up? I mean, you're locking it in place. Are those seams where it just got folded? I mean, is that going to be airtight? I mean, is there a gasket there? I mean, a lot of questions from the engineering of that. How the longevity of that? Does that have a 50-year lifespan? Is that going to have as long as a lifespan as my house, which is a brick-built house? I mean, just curious. Probably has at least the lifespan of a trailer house. A 25-year-old trailer house is probably fallen down. Those are very cheaply built. And of all the real estate, I mean, I'm a real estate investor, and we have properties, and there's a guy we follow called Bearded Brandon who gives advice on what to do in real estate. And he had a number of new investments to go for. I think it was 6 of them. And one of them was assisted living. And that definitely is that's going to be a growth industry. All these boomers are going to be needing assisted living. As we age, we have an aging population, and that's definitely going to be a growth industry. And there are others. And trailer parks is one of them. I absolutely refuse, because of my moral standing, my moral beliefs. I will not get involved with a trailer park, and the reason is because the people are in their trailer park. They don't even own that lot, and they got to pay $250 to $500 a month to rent the lot where their trailer park sits on, and they're probably paying on the trailer, and that their trailer sits on, not the trailer park. The trailer sits on.
Yeah, add it all up, and it ends up being more than a mortgage.
Yes. You're paying to rent that plot of land, and then 25 years later, my buddy Jimmy said he grew up in a house that his mom paid on it for 25 years, and in 25 years, well, you want to stop paying for the rental of that spot, but the trailer park was so beat down that it wasn't even movable. You couldn't even move it because it had deteriorated so much. And so you're really paying into a void. It's like you're renting, and it's worse than renting because you don't really own anything.
I feel like the minimum is like $450 for those spots, and the only thing that it might include is water.
Yeah, that's to me is egregious, and I will not participate in that.
Well, if anything, if anything, you can own one and charge a fraction. Just charge $100.
Could do that, but I don't know if you'd make money on it then. I don't know.
Well, I mean, as long as there's a margin there where it's worthwhile.
Yeah, I could do it with good. Yeah, I could do that if I felt. Yeah, if I felt that it was, matched with my moral values.
Or also, you could divide all of the land on that property and literally just sell all the sections to people.
Yes, I would do that and make money that way.
That's what
I could do that and
I'm
sell it to them so they actually own it.
Yeah,
my moral compass would allow me to do that.
I'm an owner financing a few of my properties. To people,
I could go with that.
You can do also,
South Dakota was famous, and when I was living there, for one of the few states that didn't have usury laws, meaning it didn't have a limit on how much interest you could charge. And most states have a limit, and the limit is quite high, like probably 30% or something, or 35%. And so that's why a lot of credit card companies move there. In Sioux Falls, South Dakota, there's a bunch of credit card companies that are based there. In fact, Mr. Sanford, who built an empire in credit card businesses, has invested a lot of his money, given back into Sanford Medical, and now the Sanford Medical in South Dakota is dominant, and they do research. I mean, he's really funded a lot of stuff, but he made his money by credit card, and it was in South Dakota. And anyway, and then, so there was no usury laws, and there was this guy, I can't remember his name, but he had all of these paycheck cashing things. And that's another thing I will never be involved with. That's egregious. That you're stealing from people that are that probably aren't educated enough to know the interest rates they're charging when you figure the fees. So we'll give you a paycheck loan, and there's fees on top of it.
You're probably going to pay 5 times back.
5 times back.
Yeah.
And it keeps people down. And he had so much money made from that. And I don't remember his name, but it was written up in a lot of the local papers in South Dakota. And he built a drag race compound outside of South Dakota, and he put $10 million in it. Building this, for drag racing. I mean, that's not that big of a sport. Or I think it was drag racing, or maybe it was dirt track racing. It wasn't concrete. It was like, why are you spending all this money on this, sport that people don't normally have ornate, place in the stands anyway. And he was spending other money that just he had a thing downtown where he had a venue and a music venue and some other stuff. And the state passed a law that made the usury max 35%. They went from no usury max to 35% is the highest interest rate you can charge. He got so mad, and this was big articles in the newspaper. He got so mad because he was obviously charging more than 35% that he said, I'm leaving the state. And he shut down all his businesses and left the state because 35% was too high or too low of a rate for him.
Well, you'd still make plenty of money.
You still could. 35%. Are you kidding me? I mean, You double your money in 2 years, basically, if you rule of 72, 30, whatever comes into 70. I mean, you double your money every 2 years at 35%. I mean, if that's not enough for you, and he literally got mad and said, I'm leaving the state. So the payday loans, you're making more than 35%. And that's egregious. I mean, people that are struggling and they don't have the financial education, perhaps, they're easily taken advantage of.
Yeah, that people don't realize, they might go out and give that, like, oh, I got to pay my utility bill. Well, a little tip for people that might be struggling to pay. I'd say always try to pay your landlord. I'm being a landlord. I just pay your landlord first. It's so funny. Like pay your landlord and like don't lose your house. Don't let that happen, or work out a payment with him. But all utility companies, they're not going to just turn off their utility. For one thing, you can just, hey, I'm going to pay this amount. They'll work out payments.
Yeah, they work out payments. They do. They are there
to
serve.
Don't go
there.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a cooperative. A lot of, I don't know if they have cooperatives around here, but in South Dakota, most of the utilities, phone, electric, that sort of thing, rural cooperatives are cooperatives because no business, South Dakota is so sparsely populated. There's only, I think, 900 million people in the state.
Very small state.
900,000.
Welcome to the state of Tim.
900,000 people. 900 billion. 900,000 people in the state of South Dakota. Not even a million.
Ladies and gentlemen, the funniest man in Nashville. I've been fired.
And South Dakota is a pretty big state. I mean, relatively speaking, it's a pretty big state if you look at the map. And there's not even a million people living there. So it's a pretty sparsely populated area. And so all those farms that are spread out in that rural area, they needed electricity and phones. Back before there were cell phones, you had to run a wire, obviously. And who's going to do that? So they had rural cooperatives to do it. Everybody got together, and the cooperatives are still, delivering those services. And it's a nonprofit, basically. And they pay dividends, and great organization, kind of like a credit union, but they're delivering utilities. I don't know if other states have that, but they will definitely have forbearance if you're in difficult times. I guarantee it. They, because that's what they're there. They're there for the people. They're owned by the people. So if it's a cooperative in South Dakota, they're not going to shut off and they have funds to cover you, that sort of thing. If you're in trouble and you need help, or you're elderly, an elderly person that is on Social Security or fixed income or something, they will find the way you can't be turning off in South Dakota in the dead of winter. You can't be turning off electricity. People die. No doubt about it. They will die. So,
well, I guess that would do it for us.
Such a positive ending there.
Had to throw in death there at the end. You will die. Dang, dang,
Hey, we cover all aspects of emotions here. We're full service emotional provider.
Guys, thanks for watching the podcast. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Watching us on Facebook, please share the podcast with your friends. Just push the little share button and share it. And you can follow us on our social medias: Tim Wolf, Seth Ohms. We're both on Instagram, Facebook. And guys, we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. Thanks. Seriously, thanks. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you watching. If you're watching right now, we appreciate you. And we